to be honest with you, just because it was like, and a lot of her introduction was just kind of about her being evil, but like sexy, which was weird.
With
And
a sick lip.
yeah, and she like takes off her like her robe dress, and she's like, "Let me slip into something a little more comfortable while we bat." I was like, "Why? For what?"
Let me
Um,
slip into something a little more murdery. Hello, and welcome to Star Gaze. No. I'm having a stroke. Okay. Hello, and welcome to Star Gaze. We're not only force sensitive, we're fear sensitive.
mhm.
Got that out.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, we were just here talking about
Yeah.
Bad Batch. It's been moments for us. It's been a week for you. Um, and we recorded everything else months ago. So this is the weird situation, guys. But we wanted to make sure we got Bad Batch and Ventress in here. So we reserved some slots so we could quickly record and edit it and throw it into the season when Bad Batch wrapped. So that's what we're doing today. Not much to talk about, I guess, in terms of updates. I'm wearing, so I wore this last episode too. It's probably weird, but I'm wearing this like Scream shirt. It's Stumacher
Oh, it
yelling
is. Okay.
into the phone. It says, "My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me." I was at the halfway to Halloween festival. They asked me to go make content, I guess, for being there.
They being the powers that be.
Yeah, they did. They no. So that was cool. It was outside. Um, so there's that. It was pretty hot today. um, but it was
Oh, was
cool.
it? How warm was it down there?
It was like 90 out there.
Oh, that's disgusting. If that's what I have to
Yeah.
look forward to this following week at Disneyland, um,
It's always humid there too. That's the other thing. So look forward to
absolutely not. Okay, well,
that.
awesome.
Yeah. But it was cool. And last night I took my family, because they gave me all the free tickets and stuff. So I brought my family in. Um, it was at night for the most part when we went. So that was cool. So I got night shots and video and all that stuff last night, and I did day stuff today. I was like, well, but really cool that they invited me to do that. So I was happy about that. And my son really liked it. So
That's fun.
yeah, it's right up his alley. He's gonna be scary as hell. I thought my daughter was crazy. We've talked about that on this show. He's beyond. Like the way he is acting at school is just beyond. Like he will rip you apart.
Literally.
Yeah. He's taken over the whole building multiple times. Like, and that's not exaggeration. Like he is gone to the most powerful office in the building and taken it over. And he has mauled parents, he's mauled students, he's done it all. Like he is wilding out. He had a really good week though this past week. I think he's starting to figure it out.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I know he's having a really rough time with it for a couple weeks there.
Yeah, and he's getting better at telling me like why he got so upset. Like he's like, I built this thing with my magnetiles and it fucking fell. And I'm like, so you took over the whole
So I
building?
burnt the building
Yeah.
down.
I was like, oh, okay, wow.
Everyone had to pay.
Yeah. Next time, maybe just give yourself a tight hug and take a deep breath. Yeah. But yeah, so he's doing a little better this week. So hopefully it sticks. But I think I found something that works for him. So we're
Good.
figuring it out. Yeah, we're figuring it out. But yeah. So, but anyways, he had a blast. He's like me a lot. I mean, I was never like that as a child, like fuck. But
Were you?
no, but he's definitely into spooky shit and he's into all that stuff and he can handle a lot. So um that's nice. So I can't wait till he turns 7 so I can make him watch horror movies.
Why
So they
7?
could I don't know. I was about 7 when I started watching
Okay.
them, so it just seemed like a
I
good
thought there was like a
benchmark.
reason.
No, I was like 7 or 8. No, I had to have been 8. Was I 9? Between there. Um, yeah, so it seems like a good benchmark. That should be when he's ready for like rated R. So we'll see. I don't know. My husband might not let me, but we'll see how that goes. Um,
Well, speaking of spooky bitches,
yeah, we're gonna talk about Ventress. I have stuff ready to show today.
hey, he's got props, you guys.
Yeah, I got props. Excited for that. Oh, I want to also, I meant to do this in the last episode. I totally forgot. But we have a new super fan, and I wanted to give a shout out because they're giving us a lot of support. So Coco Jimenez, thank you so much. Coco Viejo on Instagram. He actually rated our podcast and left a review on Apple, which nobody has done.
How exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Um, he sent us several messages like about binging our show within like a day. He's about to start season 2. Which is really impressive because season 2 just started at the time of this recording. Um,
Well, we hope
so
you enjoy it then.
yeah, I mean, we make this show and we expect nobody to listen to it, to be honest. We just make this kind of for us for the most part, and whatever
It's a
happens with
great way to
that.
hang out.
Yeah, and whatever happens with that happens with that. And we had one decent fan last season, which was Sith Princess Anakin. We have not forgotten about you. And I see you still
Forever
like
in
the
our
Instagram
hearts.
posts. Yes. So we definitely appreciate you. And now we have Coco. So we appreciate you so much. Yeah, it's just incredible. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's like that drag race episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, what the fuck are we talking about? Ventress.
Ventress.
Yes. Let me put on the backdrop.
Let's get into
Ooh,
this spooky bitch.
spooky, ooky, kooky.
Yes. Oh, I love her hair in Bad Batch. Just like float around the screen.
Woo! uh, ew, now I'm like headbutting her in the mouth. But okay.
She looks very upset.
It's like, grumpy face. Who's a little grumpy face? Yeah. This is cool though. Oh wait, no. I'd be a very bad weather person. This is cool though. Love that. Anyways, so Zach took a lot of notes. He did a lot of research. Some of this stuff I know from memory, but um Zach, if you don't mind, kind of giving us an overview of Ventress and her timeline, and then maybe we'll just talk about how badass she is.
Of course. Well, I guess just a little bit about her in general. So Ventress is a female Zabrak from Dathomir, which
Love
is where
that.
the Night Sisters are from.
Yeah.
Love
Alpha Kappa
them.
Night Sister.
Yes. Um, her character is voiced by Nika Futterman. I hope I said that right.
Love her.
What else has she done? Do you know?
No.
Cool. I know I know she's
I did.
my husband was just telling me that her voice actress is doing something in a I think in a game that he's playing, or a game that's coming out, because
I know other stuff she's done, but I'm blanking on it right now.
he played it for me. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like her. Ventress is named after the town of Ventress in Louisiana, for its
Love that.
association with the voodoo queen Marie Laveau. And Asajj is named after the character Asajj from the Akira Kurosawa film Throne of Blood, which is loosely based on Lady Macbeth. So from
Oh,
her inception, it seems to be very witchy and macabre, which I
yeah.
absolutely love, and I love about her character and about the Night Sisters in general. So I was really drawn to Ventress as soon as I was introduced to her. Originally, her design was to be a female Sith Lord for the Attack of the Clones movie. They ended up going with
Mm-hmm.
Count Dooku instead.
Yeah.
Um, so they got to recycle that and use that for her design as her own character, which is super cool. And she was going to make an appearance in the show Star Wars Resistance episode, Relic
Yes.
Raiders. She would
Mm-hmm.
have dueled Kylo Ren in that episode, but it was decided against that because she would take too much of the attention off of the main cast.
So stupid. Worked out
Yeah.
real well for that show.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's just some back for her. We can go into her life story as well, which I
Yeah,
have
do that.
here. Okay. Um,
If you want to, sorry. Do
yeah.
it.
Yes. Okay. So when Ventress was a baby, she was forced into slavery. Well, I guess not a baby, but a child. She,
Oh, uh-oh.
am I there? Are we here? Are we, is everyone
Yeah,
here?
you froze. That's why.
Cool. I love that for me.
It was something about a slave baby, and then
Yes.
froze, and then
The internet said, what?
yeah. So if you could pick up right where you left off at slave baby, that would be great.
Okay. So as a child, a young child, she was
Okay.
forced into slavery by the criminal
Yikes.
Halstead on the planet of Ratatic.
Ouch.
Um, he was later killed by pirates on the same planet, which liberated her. And then
Cool. Love that.
she was discovered by the Jedi Knight Kai Narek,
Cool.
who took her under his wing because he was also stranded on that planet doing Jedi stuff.
Oh,
Um, and he trained her and raised her as a Jedi. I guess not. It doesn't really go into like that she was a Padawan. It was more. I want to say it was probably more of a parental type relationship. But
okay.
she was raised in the Jedi way.
Yeah, and he trained her, right?
Yes. And then he was also killed by pirates. Um, After he was killed by pirates, she embraced the dark side of the Force and kind of went on a rampage against like neighboring warlords and kind of ruled as like this dark Jedi type figure on that planet. She's later discovered by Count Dooku and taken on as a secret apprentice and major
Mm-hmm.
operative in the Confederacy,
Mm-hmm.
where she was constantly kind of competing for favor from Dooku with General Grievous.
Yeah.
We're kind of like his number two people to go to, and I feel like she was
Yeah.
always in competition with him. During the Clone Wars, she encounters Obi-Wan, Anakin, Ahsoka, all the big people. She's a thorn in their side at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Eventually, Sidious orders Dooku to kill her because he doesn't like his attachment to her, and he's kind of wary of the power that she's growing in his service. So he's
Yeah.
not allowed to have an apprentice. He's technically in Sidious's eyes, Sidious's apprentice. So
Yeah.
he's got to go. He attempts to betray and assassinate her. She goes back to Dathomir and joins the sorority.
It's a
And
rough initiation, let me tell you.
yes,
That party was
and
wild.
Mother Talzin embraces her and then attempts to assassinate Dooku in retaliation for betraying Ventress.
Mm-hmm.
Um, doesn't work. They also try to enlist the help of Savage Ventress, which is Darth Maul's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Savage ends up betraying her and not killing Dooku and not working for
Yikes.
Ventress.
Big
And
yikes.
So none of that works out. She goes back to Dathomir, and Dooku just says, "We're gonna wipe out the Night Sisters. I'm done with this shit." And that's what happens to the Night Sisters. So she becomes a bounty hunter after the Night Sisters are uh, wiped out by General Grievous. And then we lead into she kind of like that's where she encounters Ahsoka when Ahsoka's going
Hmm.
through her whole trial. She's kind of
Yeah.
working as her own free agent at this point. And then I think after that are the events of Dark Disciple, correct?
Yes.
Now, I've not read Dark Disciple, but I believe you have, right?
Yes.
So do you want to loosely go over what happens in Dark Disciple?
Yeah. So Dark Disciple picks up. So I don't know exactly how much time between um her encounter with Ahsoka during the Jedi Temple bombing arc,
Hmm.
and at that point, but she essentially already looks. I have my pen in my hand, but she already looks. Jesus, she looks like this. That's behind me right
Okay,
here.
so she's got the side sweat
Essentially, yeah.
right
So
here.
she's got her Bad Batch model, basically for the most part.
Nice.
Um, and she's sporting a new yellow lightsaber. In the book, she bought it like on the black market because Anakin took her red sabers during that Jedi Temple bombing arc.
Hmm.
No, sorry, Barriss took her sabers. Barriss took her sabers, and Anakin found them on her. Um, so in the book, she had bought a yellow lightsaber, like an old Jedi saber, on the black market. I think that's going to be retconned. Um, one because that saber was used for Darth Maul's saber when they brought the Clone Wars back.
Hmm.
So, and then even looking at this in the picture that we have up now of her yellow saber here appears to be a variation of her red ones. One of the red hilts. So I'm curious to see how that happens.
Oh yeah, they do kind of look similar.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later. Um, but she's still kind of doing the same thing. Like she's a bounty hunter. She's kind of like a mercenary for hire. The whole point of Dark Disciple, though, is that the Jedi completely lose their shit, basically, and they've had it with this war. They've had it with Count Dooku, and so they make this plan to assassinate him, which is like wild. Um, and they recruit Ventress to help with that, and they send Quinlan Voss, who already is kind of like a Jedi, like special ops kind of dude, to go do it. And so they start hanging out. She trains him a little bit in like some dark sidey stuff because her whole thing is like you got to know one what to expect from Dooku, and then
Right.
it wouldn't help if you were able to kind of use it, to be honest. um,
Mhm.
and then they end up falling in love, which is weird. So it's like Ventress's love story, which is really interesting to see of with her as a character. And she in the books, like she really struggles with that, and it's this whole thing. But it's a big part of her character development. Quinlan really changes her a lot, um, and changes her
Really gets her ready
physically.
for Crosshair.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really relaxes her, if you know what I mean. Um, so during the events of the book, and not to spend too much time on it too, but during the events of the book, they try to assassinate him once, and it doesn't work. It doesn't go well, and then um, Quinlan ends up being recruited by Dooku, and he kind of becomes the new Ventress, so what she used to be over here. Um, and for a while, nobody knows, so he's like undercover for the most part, and she can tell right away, and she warns the Jedi, and she's like, "Dude, what the hell?" Um, and her whole thing too is that the Jedi somehow are going to convince the Senate to pardon her of all her war crimes, which is why she agreed to do this in the first place. So she was already pissed at the Jedi because they messed it up. They messed up the assassination. So I think they tried to go back on their deal.
Hmm.
And then she's like, okay, but bigger problem, first of all, is now you've sent your person to go do this. It's super messed up. You guys had this plan in the first place, like super not Jedi of any of you. Um, you're not telling the rest of the order that you had this plan. Super big red flag. You sent this guy to go do it. and now like he's all messed up, and I know what that's like, and we gotta fix it. And they at first don't believe her. Then I think it's Obi-Wan that figures out that she's right.
Of
And
course.
then there's this big thing with him. There's a big fight with him. She goes to go save him, and um, I can't remember exactly how it happens in the third act of the book, but there's this whole thing. Obi-Wan is there, and there's like this whole like big final battle type thing. And Quinlan does turn back, and he decides now I'm gonna kill Dooku again.
Mhm.
Um, but there's like yeah, there's like a big uncertainty of like is he gonna kill him because now he wants to just be Dooku, or is he gonna kill him because he that's what he was intending to do with the Jedi, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah. Is he carrying out the original mission or does he have his own motive now?
Right. So he switches sides, but then Dooku goes to kill him and he starts winning that fight. And he goes to kill Quinlan with the lightning, and Ventress sacrifices herself to save Quinlan. And she dies in that fight, which, spoiler alert, not for long. Um,
And then somehow returns.
yeah, exactly. But the book ends with Obi-Wan and Quinlan taking her body to Dathomir and putting her to rest in like the waters there, the Night Sister waters.
I wonder if the waters of Dathomir are special for Night
So
Sisters.
yeah, so in when they were originally going to bring her back for Resistance, they were supposedly, based on other things I read, going to explain that somehow on Dathomir, Night Sister magic had brought her back, and then she went into hiding. Um, I'm assuming it's something similar still, like something happened. Um, my bigger questions are then what happened with her and Quinlan after that, because Quinlan goes back with the Jedi. They just forgive him, which is super
All's
weird.
well.
Yeah, super weird. I do think they do end up clearing Ventress's name. I can't remember, like posthumously, I guess. Um, and there's like a new level of respect that Obi-Wan especially has for her. Um, but yeah, Quinlan just gets to kind of just like go back to what he was doing, which is super bizarre. Um, Meanwhile, they kicked Ahsoka out and she didn't even do nothing. But it's
It
not
was all a
good for the
test. It was
Jedi
all a
guys.
test.
Not good for the Jedi guys.
No.
Um, so anyway, so that's where Ventress' story initially wrapped up, and then I guess somehow she's returned, and now she's in Bad Batch. So I don't know. I'm assuming I don't know if she because we know Quinlan used the hidden path. The Kenobi told us that in the Kenobi series that he was part of the hidden path, or at least used it to get to safety somewhere.
Mhm.
So I'd be curious to know if Ventress either helped with that or was a part of that, or if she's doing something with him somewhere. I don't know.
We need a Ventress series to clear all this up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Disney.
Yeah. But that's Dark Disciple. Her voice actress, Nika Futterman, has done a lot of voices in cartoons, like from Phineas and Ferb to she was in Hey Arnold as a character.
Oh, who is she in Hey Arnold?
She was this blonde bitch. I don't know. I don't remember her name. She wasn't like one of the main people.
Mm.
She was Catwoman in Batman Brave and the Bold.
Ooh, okay.
And where else I know her from, where sort of was like, what am I trying to think of? She's she's Cuckoo Loca, which is a yellow bird from like it's one of the Mickey and Friends shows. So she's this yellow bird.
And that's where
But
you know her from.
yes, because my kids were watching it.
Okay, okay. That's
Yeah.
the missing piece of information I
Yeah.
needed.
There's this show where like it's Mickey and Friends. It's all the Mickey people from like Mickey's Clubhouse or whatever the fuck. And they go on like they travel the world and shit and they do all this, they have all these adventures. So there's like a spin-off show. And she's Cuckoo Loca, which is like this little yellow bird. She's like Daisy's bird or some shit. I don't know. But she's there. But
You're
it's
clearly
funny.
very invested in this.
It's yeah. But it's funny because I remember they were watching it and it's this yellow little bird with like a pink bow and she's like super small, but she sounds like Ventress.
Like
Yeah.
an over middle-aged smoker.
Yeah. So it's like, is that um is
I
that
love that.
Ventress? Yeah, and I looked it up and it was her. Yeah. It's cute. She's like this cute little bird, but she's like Daisy. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, whoa.
The bird. We must stop Dooku.
You must learn the dark side.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, that's cool. It's funny the shows that you get like super into when you're around kids. Like when Jackson was little, it was Caillou. Like I knew Caillou backwards and forwards because he watched it all the time.
Nice. Mine's Bluey, probably. Bluey is like the big one. And Bluey's
Yeah.
hilarious. I love Bluey. I don't give a fuck. I love Bluey.
Ventress. Okay, so she's had a pretty rough life and she's made some choices.
Yeah.
How do you think Ventress compares and contrasts with other major female roles in the Star Wars universe, like Ahsoka or maybe even Leia?
Um, it's a good question. I mean, she's definitely like a strong female character for
Mhm.
sure. Like that all tracks. Um, I really liked in the nope, the Jedi Temple bombing arc, her kind of relation to Ahsoka, which is the only reason why she ends up helping her. She starts to relate to her, and which is also kind of, I think, where like the gears really start turning and changing Ventress. Um, because they have very similar story. I mean, they were taken as children. One,
Mhm.
like she doesn't. I mean, I guess she went back to her planet and fucking found them, I guess, but she doesn't really know who her family is. Um, but they went very different routes, like slavery, Jedi temple.
Yeah.
Um,
Imagine if she was found by the Jedi at a young age like that. That would have been such a
yeah,
different Ventress.
yeah. But even, I mean, when we see her in Ahsoka meetup, I mean, the Jedi are not in a good place. So,
No.
I mean, I would
That's
be
even
curious
more
to
evident in
see,
Dark Disciple.
yeah, and it would be curious to see what a Ventress who's never been outside of the Jedi Order would handle that. Because for the most part, Ventress, even as when she's trained as a Jedi, quote unquote, it's not at the temple. Like she's never officially a Jedi by Jedi
No,
standards.
she's on that planet pretty much the first part
Yeah,
of her life.
exactly. Which is a big part of her story. Like she's trying to find a place to fit in constantly because she's always kind of like on the outside of a group
Hmm.
and never fully a part of it. She can never be fully a Sith. She can never be fully a Jedi. She can never be like this. So, even Night Sisters, like she's a Night Sister, but she's not really like she wasn't raised by Night Sisters. She gets initiated, but doesn't really learn any magic. And then the night she's initiated, they all
They
get
dissolved the
wiped
sorority.
out. So,
They get kicked off
it's
campus.
exactly. So it's like this whole thing with her. But, you know, I like though that she related to Ahsoka when everybody turned on Ahsoka. And she was like, oh, like
It's
I've
like
been
it's
where
like
you're
she
at.
has an eagerness to place loyalty somewhere and really be a part of it.
Yeah.
But then eventually realizes she can really only be loyal to herself. And I think that's where we're at in like Bad Batch. Like that Ventress knows who she is and she understands what's going on around her and can like impact it, but it's
Yeah.
it's her. It's just her.
Yeah. Well, even when she joins Dooku, it's like the whole reason she's so mad at the universe is because of like what it's dealt her so far. And
Hmm.
so she's like, well, at least here I can use that to fit in with this group and it will get me power and it will get me like status and it will get me
Yeah.
accepted by these two really powerful dudes. But then that doesn't work either. So then she's like, what the fuck is the point of anything?
Yeah, and
after
on
that.
top of that, when Dooku like, because so you go a little into like how they interact in the Dooku novel.
Yes,
I forget what it's called, and he treats her like
Dooku lost.
garbage. Yeah, he treats her like garbage, and it's like, oh my
Yep.
gosh, like you just felt like from start to finish, her story is just very tragic.
Yeah. And there is a sense of like, I believe Dooku does like her because there's still a part of Dooku that's still Jedi.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain degree, he really does respect her. And there is like a natural inclination for him to bond with her
Mhm.
and really like level her up, which is what gets him in trouble with Sidious.
Right, because he's investing way too much time
Yeah, because he
into
goes too far
an
with it. Yeah.
apprentice.
Hmm. Yeah, he goes way too far with it.
Which again always like blows my mind because Sidious has secret apprentices all the time, and but he doesn't like it when anyone else does. It's irritating.
Yeah. I mean, well, he's the
I love that
boss.
bitch. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does what he wants.
Yeah. Next question. This is fun.
Um, what I mean, you kind of just talked about this, but what do you think it was that, besides just raw power, that Dooku saw in Ventress that said, "Hey, like let's take her under our wing and um mold her into a great Sith or whatever it was she was intended to be when he took her on."
um, I do think power is a big part of it, but uh it's the big green flag for him. It was like, okay, I mean, she kind of took over a planet. So like,
Check
all
and
right,
check.
yeah, she's doing pretty well. But she is also very resourceful and intelligent, and um she's in a sense, I don't want to say screwed over by the Jedi at this point, but I mean, her master, quote unquote master, is stranded on a planet. The Jedi didn't go looking for him. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, you know what I mean? Which is why she's kind of resentful of the Jedi, because she's like, what, like, you never
Like, you're
did
supposed
anything
to be
for
this
us.
order, and we're supposed to be a part of this
Yeah,
order, and you don't do anything
exactly.
to, yeah.
Yeah, you never did anything for us. Um, so I think there is a sense of like she would have been a great Jedi, but I don't think she would have wanted to be a Jedi. And that's kind of where Dooku's at. So I think Dooku relates to her in a lot of ways too.
You know what's interesting is her story is actually very similar to at least the warlord bit in conquering the planet and having a certain point of view of the downside of the Jedi. It's very similar to Grievous, right? Because
Hmm.
Grievous like liberated his planet from an invading force and had
Yeah.
negative interactions with the Jedi because the Jedi were supporting the invading force. And it was that warlord instinct and almost like ability to conquer that drove attracted Sidious and Dooku to Grievous and turned him into Grievous.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Dooku did too. I mean, Dooku went and took his planet
Hmm. That's right,
and
he
took
did.
over for his family, you know. So um and he was all about, now we just need to find order. So
Hmm.
how, whatever that means.
Do you
So
think she would have made, if if her story took place a little later, do you think she would have made a good Inquisitor, or is that too much of a 100% follow orders role for her that she probably wouldn't have excelled in?
um that feels like a step down for her.
Mhm.
I feel like she would have made a good Grand Inquisitor.
Ooh, yeah,
Hmm.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? I struggle to think though that she would take orders from Vader.
Yeah, not likely.
I think she would want if Dooku died, she would be like, why aren't I getting promoted?
Right, yeah. She'd
Yeah.
want to be in Vader's position, not take
Yeah.
orders from Vader.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Um, I'm really curious to know what she's doing now. I really want to see her train somebody.
Yeah. And kind of that gray area between Jedi and Sith, just more a a user of the Force and a connected person.
And I really want to see her interact with Ahsoka again at this point in time
Yeah.
because now they're kind of in the same spot.
Yeah, they're both kind of this like behind the scenes, I guess, chaotic force for good against the Empire.
Yeah, and they don't really identify. Like Ahsoka doesn't identify as a Jedi at this time, so
Hmm.
I mean, I would love to see what that looks like. I would love to see that team up.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I feel like they both choose to not identify as Jedi for the same reason.
Hmm.
Like, Jedi in their minds were corrupt assholes.
Yeah,
So it's more just like existing in between the two. I'd
yeah.
say Ventress probably leans closer to the dark side than Ahsoka does.
Well,
But
it's what
in
she
that,
knows.
right, but existing in that intermediate space, they're allowed to really connect to the Force in the way that maybe the Jedi don't because of their arrogance.
Yeah. So I would. I hope we get a show for her or something because I need to see them team up or do something. I need to
At least
need to
interact.
know more about her. Yeah. I'm assuming because based on what we see with Omega, like she's trying to protect people who are being hunted for being force sensitive. So,
Hmm.
she's up to something.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and I think it would be really cool. I'm assuming then she at least has some connection to the hidden path, like she's helping them out somehow.
Yeah, that'd be a show around that, around the hidden path would be kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
its formation, what it looks like at the other end, and all that.
Yeah. So it's a little frustrating because I feel like Tales of the Empire would be like a good spot or to explore. I don't know. And it seemed like because they were like, we're gonna tell you all about how this happened with her later. I was like, okay, well, that seems like a good place to do
When
that.
is that going to happen?
That must be when they're doing it. Yeah, no.
What would be cool is if they could connect it to the oh God, what is that place that they find? So you played Jedi Survivor, right?
Hmm.
So at the end where they find that place that's kind of like hidden and hard to find, but it's kind of like a refuge and a haven for the Jedi.
Oh yeah, I
It'd
can't
be
remember the
cool
name of
if
it.
that was the hidden path, if that was the end result of arriving at the
Oh
hidden
yeah,
path. That'd be cool. That'd
yeah.
be a cool way to connect it too, because I would love to see characters from the game in more canon stuff. That'd be so cool.
And I want to say Seer in that game was helping with the hidden path. I can't remember if they say that or not,
I think so.
or
Is that
something
what they
to that
call it when they're
effect.
at on the Jeddah?
I think it might be, or they're doing something, or they're forming the hit. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, yeah. Um, I'm also ready for her in live action.
Ooh, who would play her?
Um, it's a good question. I feel like that's a really hard because the voice needs to be there for me. I'm sorry. Like I need someone who can sound real similar to her.
Or it's not really like a vocal fry, it's like a raspiness.
Hmm.
Hmm. If any of you listeners have any ideas, please leave a comment below.
Yeah, because I honestly I don't know who that would be. Zendaya. No, I'm just kidding.
Meryl Streep.
She's if anyone could do it, it's her.
She could play Batman and it'd be the right choice.
Yeah, Meryl Streep. I could see her as an older Ventress in like the sequel trilogy era.
Meryl's voice is very. She'd have to like use her Devil Wears Prada voice, where it's in a lower register, because
It's
her
essentially the
other
fair.
her otherwise speaking voice is very like high and lofty. I don't know if I could make that connection. She'd have to like do some work on that.
Judy Ditch.
I was
No.
almost thinking, at least for I think a good look would be what's her name, the Scarlet Witch.
Oh, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, I can almost see her doing it, but she has a really high pitched voice, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, you know when in the Doctor Strange movie when she goes kind of batshit crazy, she kind of gets to that edgy, dark tone to her voice. I could see that.
yeah. Hmm. It's gonna bother me. I don't know who else to put there.
Glenn Close.
Maybe this is why we haven't seen her in live action.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I don't know. I would love to see her in the Ahsoka series, though.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I think I like characters like Ventress because I don't know, we see s- strong men in media a lot. And it's not just because she's a strong female character, but I think like the growth that her character goes through, like while being a woman, like I don't know, they always resonate more for me. Like Ahsoka, Ventress, even Leia, like they just tend to resonate with me a little more than male characters that go through a lot of shit too.
Which is really disappointing because, like, that's why the Acolyte is getting so much hate.
Mm,
Because there's so many female characters in there. So everyone's
which
hating on
which
it.
is so dumb because it's the story. I mean, it's just like the Captain Marvel movie that came out. That was actually really good, but I feel like because it was a predominantly female cast,
Yep.
like it got a lot of crap. But it was probably one
Yep.
of the better Marvel movies I've seen in a long time.
Yep. I agree. So I don't know. I every all the Star Wars fans commenting on there, it's like this should be called Star Wars Estrogen. Like it's like shut the fuck up. Like
Which is so weird. You don't think that, I mean, I expect the Star Wars fandom to be toxic because it is a very, if you guys don't know, you're a very toxic fandom.
yeah,
Just so you know,
just so you
notoriously.
know.
Um, it's just so disheartening in 2024 to still see that just because it's a female led cast or a female character, that it is somehow less than or not as meaningful or as impactful as a male character. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Me neither. Fucking stupid.
Yes. Pull your
I
heads out
don't
of
know.
your asses and get over it.
Yeah. I do hope we get a show with her though. Like at least an animated series or I need something to happen with her. I need something that's not like the Bad Batch.
Yeah. Something like Kenobi would be really cool with her.
Oh, yes. Or season 2 of Kenobi with her.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Love
Are we still
that.
getting a season two of Kenobi? Is that still happening?
They've never planned a season 2 of Kenobi.
Oh, I thought they were talking about it. Oh no, I'm sad.
No, Ewan McGregor wants one,
Oh, maybe that's what I read, that he said he was down
but
for one.
Lucasfilm has no intention of doing one at this time. I think probably because it wasn't well received and um
But I loved it.
all of that
I
and
loved Kenobi.
yeah.
They're
And
just watching the wrong media.
yeah.
Just need to pay attention to other fans.
Yeah. Um yeah, but I would love that. What else about her?
She can rock a bald head, girl.
Yeah, but I like her with this hair,
No,
especially in the
this
bad.
hair is definitely preferable, but she didn't look terrible bald.
No, it's pretty good. But I do love it's very different looks, by the way. Like
They are very
extreme.
different looks. You know,
Um
at first I did not like Ventress because my first exposure to her was like the third episode of season one of Clone Wars, right? Because that's when they do the one where her and Yoda are competing to get the
oh
favor of that one
yeah.
planet. And I'm watching, I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like, no introduction. I don't know who the fuck this bitch is. Like, she's a random red saber wielding bitch, and I'm just like, I was like, but Dooku's a thing at this time. What is going on? I don't
Who the fuck are
understand.
you?
Yeah, who the fuck are you? Mackenzie Zales. Sorry. Uh,
Yes, that's what I was doing. Oh my god, I'm glad you got it.
um, I lost my train of
I'm
thought.
I'm Deandra. I'm Neo.
Deandra.
I'm Asajj Ventress. I'm Neo.
I already know how things work here at Overland Park. Sorry. So you're kind of exposed to her very early on in Clone Wars, but without a proper introduction. And I think we don't get quite enough exposition on her story unless you read like the Dooku book or Dark Disciple. And I wish they would go more into her character. Like maybe if they did a show of her, like extensive, like the amount of flashbacks they did for Boba Fett would be appropriate for her because none of us know
Hmm.
her background in that regard. And I think that'd be really important.
Yeah, I would love to see like a show, like a walkabout show of her kind of traveling around and like The
Yeah, just like
Mandalorian, but with her.
yeah, or like the you know how like in Tales when it follows like Ahsoka's part and you're kind of just seeing like her different interactions after
Yeah,
all of that, like that would be really cool.
yeah, yeah.
What really draws you to because I know like obviously the gays love Ventress. So what draws you to Ventress? Like what do you like
Okay,
about
I got.
as a gay icon? 100%.
Um, I mean, I didn't really care for her at first, to be honest with you, just because it was like, a lot of her introduction was just kind of about her being evil, but like sexy, which was weird.
With a
And
sick lip.
yeah, and she like takes off like her robe dress and she's like, let me slip into something a little more comfortable while we bat. I was like, why? For what?
Me
Um,
slip into something a little more murdery.
I didn't wear these yoga pants for nothing. Um, but and this is what I was talking about. I think even in the last episode, we don't have a lot of um examples of characters who are evil and then have to seek redemption and what that looks like
Yeah.
truly for them. And truly until Bad Batch, she was not one of those people either because she dies in Dark Disciple. She's like another one who just like gets what's coming to her and that's it.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's the part that intrigues me. I wasn't intrigued with her until she had to switch sides, and then it became a much more interesting story to me. Um, and now that she's
The Dark
back,
Disciple
that's
really sold it for you.
yeah. Or even, I mean, even when she gets fired by Dooku and she's with the Night Sisters and she's trying to figure things out, and she kind of becomes more in the middle, it becomes more intriguing for me. And she has that one team up with Obi-Wan where she fights Maul and Savage.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is intriguing to me. Like now she's fighting on the other side. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
Um, so all that is it's just really compelling to me. And that's why I think I'm so hungry for what she's doing now. Cause I'm like, they've brought her back, and I'm like, I need to know what that looks like for her.
Yeah, and it's a huge opportunity. Like
Yeah.
she's I really hope they don't waste this character because I think she has a lot of storytelling potential.
Yeah. Cause even I mean, I would watch nothing in the Bad Batch except her episode. I could watch that over and over because
Oh yeah.
I loved it. I loved even with the sea monster shit she was doing when she was teaching Omega about the Force,
Hmm.
and she like accidentally summons the prey of that giant monster. And the first instinct she has is she's like cutting tentacles off and shit. She's like, fuck this bitch. But, and then she has to like use her coping strategies. And then she
Take a
like,
step back, count to five.
yeah. And then I was gonna say gets rid of it, but that's not really a good way to put it. But she handles the issue in a very Jedi way after that, which is like really interesting to see her do. And
Yeah,
she's
calm, collected,
very
and
she's very in the middle of both those concepts and instincts, and I like that. That's fascinating to me.
yeah,
So,
I agree with that.
um, yeah.
Some more Ventress, please.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, we talked about her enough, right?
I think so. I think we covered some really good ground with her.
Can I show this saber off?
Yes, please show us the saber.
Okay, so I have a Galaxy's Edge saber that is Asajj Ventress' saber, but there is a really cool box set of her red blades, which the hilts themselves are really bulky. I don't really like how they look, but the box is pretty cool. And the box is based off of the 2D Clone Wars series that is no longer canon. Um, but it's the box Dooku presents her lightsabers in to her, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
So this is not it, but I just wanted to say it like that too.
This is not the saber.
But what
Disclaimer.
I have her Dark Disciple saber. So they, before they were gonna bring her back for the Bad Batch, and before they were gonna do the Clone Wars final season and all that bullshit, so they released a legacy lightsaber of hers that you could find in Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities in Galaxy's Edge. And it was her yellow saber from the Dark Disciple book. It comes in this case, which is cool. I don't know if it's gonna.
Which
I
you
might have to
cannot see.
take off. Let me take off this bullshit.
Bye, Ventress.
Bye, bitch. But it looks like this. It's got like her own little yellow symbol on it. So on the legacy lightsabers, the color of the symbol is always the color of the lightsaber.
Oh,
Fun
okay.
fact. So this one's yellow. Let me put it in my other camera angle too, so you can see it there. And the saber itself, so you open it, it looks like this. It's very cool. What's interesting about this and why they're not going to ever make it again is they ended up using this design as Maul's as Maul's lightsaber for the final season of the Clone Wars. So now you can buy this saber, but it's as Darth Maul's. And so it's only ever red, and they don't make this one anymore. So this saber was retconned out of existence as Asajj Ventress' saber, which is why I'm going to
So
hold
this is
on to it for
truly a
forever.
relic of the Force.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's even got the crystal inside of it right here. I can't really see it here, but I'll show it in my other camera angle right there. So it's got the little crystal chamber in there. So Maul's is exactly the same, but he's got a red crystal. He's got all that bullshit. And his will connect to his other hilt that he has in the Clone Wars. Yeah, but this one is cool. I'm gonna pop a bullet in it if you don't mind. I'll fire this bitch up.
Pop away.
So you can see,
Oh, it lights up in there. Cool.
yeah. So the crystal lights up. Oh, so cute yellow.
That is cool. How much are the legacy sabers up for at Disneyland?
It depends on the saber you're getting. So I would say on average about 170.
Oh, that's not too bad.
I know the Ezra lightsaber they have right now is 30% off. So it would be 30% off plus your discount, I think,
Mm.
as a pass holder. But it just kind of depends on the saber you're buying and if it comes in a set of two, like if there's two sabers you need and all that shit. So blades are also separate. if you need them. But yeah, so that's not my pride and joy because I know they're not gonna fucking make that shit no more. So until I
Very cool.
really need money for something. um
Investment.
yeah, it's my little baby. Yeah. The Galaxy's Edge lightsabers are cool. I think they're easy as like collectibles because they're a decent price point, I guess.
Mhm.
And they're easily
But you've gotten some
accessible.
from third-party vendors too, though, before, huh?
Yes. So, these two, these three actually are all third party sabers. There's two off screen over yonder that are Galaxy's Edge sabers. Those are the ones we built. And then I have a Temple Guard saber in there. And they're okay. I mean, the blades are okay. The motion isn't great. I almost whacked myself in the face with this. The motion isn't great. Like in terms of sound, like reading motion and doing all that stuff and clash on clash isn't always great.
Yeah, I got the Lego saber for Christmas versus the one I made at Disneyland, and
Oh, that's right.
I prefer. I can bring that out. Hold on, give me a sec.
Yes.
Since we're doing show and tell, and I had them built because I was going to take them the Lego saber.
Yay.
I don't like that bit,
That rocks.
and you can change the color on it too, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Which I like because I can't ever make up my mind as to what kind of want.
Yeah.
But,
That
the
rocks.
the motion on this one, and I think just the overall features it has is a lot better than the one at Disneyland. It's also not nearly as heavy as the one at Disneyland.
Yes.
Um, the one at Disneyland is it's so, and now that I see it compared to this one, it's so big and bulky.
Yes.
Um, it's so, let's see, ugh, like just the size comparison of the hilt, like,
Yes. Yes. It's because they put so much space into the crystal chamber and the batteries, and then they need a whole space for the hilt to click into. It's
yeah.
this whole
I mean,
fucking
and I guess
production.
it makes sense because you get to pick and choose the pieces that go on it, but it's
The
it doesn't always feel that firm either when
yeah,
you're holding it because they like screw together and the screwing doesn't always go right. But
the legacy sabers are also pretty bulky, which is why I didn't get those Ventress ones because they're like unnaturally big. Like they just don't look right.
yeah, like it doesn't
So
it wouldn't make sense as a weapon.
yeah. And you can the third party ones are typically truer to like scale and size, and
Hmm.
they just work better. So now I'm like, if I'm gonna collect sabers, that's where I'm gonna go, probably. I do have the dark saber also from Galaxy's
Mandalorian.
Edge. Hmm.
I wish they would do the ones that you can get in the Jedi Survivor game. Like those are some pretty cool sabers, and they have the really tall one that's supposed to be like a really tall bastard sword for a knight. Like that one's
Oh, that's
really
cool.
cool. I wish they would. They might have that out there. I just haven't looked, but it would be cool to have one like that.
They do have Cal's saber, like his regular saber.
His regular saber. I
And they
saw.
have what?
Sorry, go on.
No, what'd you say? What
I
you
saw a
see?
really cool amalgamation of two of my favorite franchises. Someone made a Lord of the Rings lightsaber with the Anduil Flame of the West sword, which is the sword that is made for Aragorn when he becomes King of Gondor again. They reforge it so it becomes Anduil, the Flame of the West. So they made that sword hilt with a saber, and it looks so fucking cool. I will send it to
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah, send me a picture of that.
Sick.
Um, in Galaxy's Edge, they do have a High Republic saber right now, which is pretty cool looking.
Ooh, in celebration of the Alkalite,
No,
or just to have
it's
it.
yeah, they just had it. It came out a while ago.
Hmm,
But it's from a High Republic comic character.
that's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. I think his name is Stellan.
Stellar.
Could be wrong. Stellan Avra. I could be making this up.
See, now I can't get this not thin. Bugging the hell out of me. There we go. Now I got it.
Nice. Uh, but yeah, I should have powered up the dark saber one. But even those like third party, way better, way better.
Mhm.
So, but at the same time, if you're just walking around Disneyland, like maybe just take the legacy one. I don't know.
Yeah, just as the, because I probably wouldn't even take the blade if I was just walking around to like to what do they call it? Disney bound. I'd probably just have the hilt on my belt or something.
Which I've done. I did that with one of the like sometimes because these don't even fucking work no more.
Mhm.
But sometimes I use it like just as a prop walking around.
Yeah, I wish the Lego one had a clip on it somewhere that I'd have to like hold it
It
because there's
doesn't?
nowhere.
Oh,
No, I do
I
see a spot
guess.
where I could put one on there because there's a
Yeah,
little screw hole, and I could just like wrap some leather on it onto a belt and it would hold it.
I guess because the
Um,
regular Lego one wouldn't have one.
yeah,
It's
because
just
all their
two
hands are.
to, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so that was Ventress.
Yeah, that was Ventress. Good for her. Love her though. Thank y'all for watching and or listening. We appreciate you so much. If you are listening to us on a podcast platform, please review our podcast. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, do all the things. We appreciate it so much. If you are watching us on YouTube, do the same shit. Leave us a like, leave us a comment. Please subscribe to the PG Media channel also so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. Um, and yeah, in the meantime, until our next episode. So the next two episodes are ones we recorded ages ago that as we wrap out the season, it'll be Solo and Kenobi. So look out for those. Um, recorded them months and months ago. They're just gonna roll out. So yeah, enjoy those as we wrap up the season. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for that, watch some Star Wars. Watch all of Asajj Ventress's episodes on Clone Wars. Watch her Bad Batch episode. Read Dark Disciple. It is good. Good shit. And with that being said, as always, thank you for watching Star Gaze and or listening to Star Gaze. This is episode 22, I think, which is crazy to think about also.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
It doesn't feel like it's that much, but that's a
Wow.
lot.
Yeah, so this is episode 22. Thank you guys for listening. And may the fierce be with you. All of you out there. Yes. Bye, everyone.